countries like Canada and France, we're kind of very established already. So the growth is still significant. It's almost 10%, but in some countries the growth is really very, very strong. We're talking about Russia, South Korea, Japan. Italy is doing very well. So the growth is very important. And this is again, now we're just talking about Google Play books. As I mentioned, we are currently today selling digital books on Google Play Books in 66 countries in the world. Okay. Today we're not in one of those countries. Today we're in Egypt, and we are going to be launching in Egypt, being the next country. We're not just going to launch in Egypt, we're going to launch in the whole MENA region at the same time. Sorry?
It didn't start Google Play?
No. In any place in the Arab world, you cannot buy any digital books yet. Okay, so we're working on this, and hopefully, I just wrote down Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and UAE, but there's going to be about 9 or 10 Arab countries where we're going to be hopefully launching very, very soon. Any questions so far?
Why didn't you start in MENA region?
Why did we start earlier?
Yes. Why didn't you start at MENA region until now?
It's a good question. Why did we start earlier? A couple of reasons. We were quite busy with those other 66 countries. And at the same time, let's put it that way, it's a lot of work, especially in this region, because publishers, and we'll talk about it later, are not really yet ready to start with digital books. Maybe you are, but if you talk maybe to a publisher, in Lebanon, or not all publishers are yet ready. So it took us a little bit longer to get the store ready. It takes a lot more time. It's not like we're calling a publisher and they're like, yeah, we have all the metadata in Onyx format, here are EPUB 3s, here's everything. It's still a bit more complicated, that's for sure. That's why it took a little bit more time. Sure. There's another question there.
I think you already had a research about the Arab market. So did you think what you will do with the censorship issues in the Gulf countries? Saudi Arabia and Emirates is bigger than Egypt concerning the credit card and
right. So what do we do? The question is, what do we do with the content restrictions?
Yes.
Let's put it that way. We already have YouTube in Saudi Arabia. YouTube is also part of Google. And YouTube is a lot more complicated to monitor in a country like Saudi Arabia. So we have some expertise from there on how to deal with content that the Saudi kings don't like. So hopefully we're going to be able to manage. But yeah, obviously the store is going to look a little bit different than the French store that has a lot more romance and 50 Shades of Grey and all that kind of stuff. Sure.
What do you do with the copyrights? What do you do with the copyrights?
Can we
wait for
okay. Because we will go directly to.
All right, cool. So keep your questions, write them down, and we'll get back to them. Later. Okay, so what I want to do now is to really show you the Google Play store experience. And everyone has Google Play on their Android phones, right? But there's also Google Play interface in the web. So you can go to Google Play, play.google.com, and you will have exactly the same interface on your computer. Now, this is the French store, right? So you'll see everything in French with some English translations. So this is not what you're going to be able to see when you open it now here in Egypt. If you open it in Egypt, you're just going to see apps. Okay? So movies, music, books, and newsstands, we're working on. Okay, so this is the way the homepage looks like, right? It's a combination of apps, movies, digital content. There are some promotions. It's a good deal, 50% off, etc., etc. And even here, you can see a couple of shelves that are completely merchandise just for me. As you can see, it's recommended books for you. And you can see also why this book is recommended for me, because those books are, for example, popular with people that also bought some similar art books. Okay? So I bought books that are similar, so that's why I suggested me this books. You can see also some digital magazines, etc., etc. All right, so let's dive straight away into the bookstore, and I will show you the interface later on the phone as well, if everything is going to work. And here in the bookstore, and again, this is the French bookstore, so I'm apologizing for the romance merchandising, but the French really like reading that kind of stuff. Again, here, recommended for you. The bestsellers, some more suggestions. Again, recommended for me. Some new books, etc., etc. Right? It's a normal, it's a beautiful store, lots of content. Here, for example, comic books that are really popular in France. You know, the Tintin and Asterix and Obelix, very popular in France. So we have a special section there. So we're trying to have it both local. We try to have it personalized for every user, etc. All right. So what do we want to do? What we can do is a couple of things. We can better browse for new books, or we can go ahead and read books that I already previously bought. Right? So we can click on My Books, and we can see straight away all the books that I previously bought available here also on my computer. I click on a book, and off we go. Here, I can continue reading this book, even on my computer, right? So all my books are always available. I have nothing to do. I have nothing to download, upload, or whatever. Everything is available, no matter where I am.
Offline and online?
Offline and online, of course. So let's have a look at the book. Canfallet, quite a big publisher. In some countries, very popular. So you can see some metadata, some reviews from other users, more information about the author. I can click here, and I will see all the books from this writer, right? And if I want, I can click here and straight away see a free sample, the first 20% of the book. I'll be able to enjoy that book, see if I like it, and then I can decide to buy it straight away here. Okay? But in this case, I'm pretty sure this is going to be an interesting book. And let's get back to the point of paying, right? Paying online, it has to be easy. It has to be essentially easier than going and standing in the line in the queue in the physical bookstore and buying a book. It has to be fast. And what I mentioned earlier, we're talking about the Google Play ecosystem. So if you already previously bought an app or you paid for Angry Birds, on Google Play, we already know your credit card details. We know how you want to pay. So in that case, once you already bought something, paying simply happens with just 2 clicks. Okay? So you want to give it a try with 2 clicks. So I want to buy a book, right? I have no credit card. I'm clicking one time here. It's asking me, do you want to buy this book? There's my credit card details that are here. And I say, yes, I want to buy it, and off we go. So that's it. I bought a book. I'm going to receive an email with my confirmation, with the receipt. But, I'm not really interested in receipts. I want to keep on, start reading the book already here. Okay?
So I just buy the book for good?
The question was if you buy the book forever, and yes.
Yeah. So what if the book, for example, the publisher changes
people want to have a microphone.
Yeah. For the copyright, so I buy it for good because sometimes only the contract of the book is just 5 years with the publisher, so they store all these issues together. Or I don't know how online can I do it.
No, the point is that when a user buys the book, he will always have access to it, no matter what. No matter if the publisher loses the copyright, no matter what happens, the user should always have the access to the book.
So I can just, you said that we can just see it, because I'm not very aware of the issues, because I never tried to buy books online.
Right.
So just same question. So I just can see it online and offline as if it's downloaded on my device? Or?
Yes, and we'll be able to see that in a minute on the device. So what we just did is the interface on the computer, and please just keep your questions afterwards, because then we'll be able to discuss everything at the same time, and then you don't lose the storyline of the experience we're having here. So I just bought a book. I started reading this book, right, here on the computer. I read till page 23, and I will continue reading later on my Android phone, or even on an iOS device, right? We didn't actually mention this before, but Google Play Books is a very open platform. So that means you can buy books in Google Play, and then you can read it on the computer, as we're doing right now. You can read it on an Android device by using the Play Books app that is actually already probably pre-installed on your devices. And you can even download the app on an iPad or an iPhone, and then also read every book that you have in your library there as well.
Kindle?
Not only Kindle. Kindle is a closed system where you can only buy from one vendor, and it's Amazon. Okay. So a couple of things, right? So what else can we do? We can open another book as we just did here. We can, for example, put a little note here for later. I mean, it's going to be interesting. And I'm just going to say that this was very interesting. See, I'm just putting a little note. If I don't really understand English very well, I can straight away translate this into any language I want. So you can translate, there's a translate feature in here into any other language. And we can put a bookmark, like a physical bookmark. But even more, this is obviously an EPUB, right? So we can change the UI, we can change the type font, we can change the letters, the font, and what we also have is a way for a user to say, you know what, this is an EPUB, this is great, but I actually want to see the way the book is when it's in a print format. I want to see the PDF of it. So here you go. You click on original pages, and you can see the PDF version of exactly the same book. And then you can essentially switch from original to flowing, and you can read in any format you want. All right? So we read now till, let's say, page 23. We highlighted this in green. Let's say this was good stuff. All right. Just putting this for the purpose of the demo. All right, so then next thing we want to do is obviously we want to continue reading on a mobile device, right? Because most people that buy books on Google Play, they're actually buying it not from the web experience here, but from the phone, right? Everyone has a phone in the pocket. People take the phone, they buy books, and then they start reading the books here as well. So let me show you how it's going to look on your phone. All right. So here you can see my phone, and here you can see the It may take a little bit more time because it needs time to load, but here you'll be able to see the way Google Play looks on a mobile device. Let's give it time to load. There you go. So here as well, you can see exactly the same store. Again, this is very similar to the way it looks like now on your phones, right? But just you can see also the digital content that is available here. All right. So after I bought some digital content in Google Play, I have to open one of those. Oh, sorry. One of those consumption apps, right? So those are apps that you use in order to watch the movie you just bought on Google Play, read the book that you just bought on Google Play Books, or listen to the music you just bought on Google Play Music. So let's open Google Play Books. So I open my Google Play Books, and what happens? As you can see, this is the book we just bought, right? This is the book we just bought on my computer, and without me having to do anything, I open up my app on my phone, and the book is just there, without anything to do. Okay? And it's even already available offline. As you can see, this little logo, it means it's available offline. So even that, I don't even have to think about. The book is always going to be there. If I would have opened my iPad, I would have opened Google Play, the app, the book would have been just there without me having to do anything.
It's already downloaded.
It's already downloaded and it's already available online. So let's open that book. And guess what we see now? It's saying, hey, I know you, right? It knows me. It knows it's Alexander. And it's saying, hey, you are on this device, but page 23 on your other device. So it knows that I've been reading until page 23 on my computer, and it says, hey, you don't want to continue reading on that page, right? Because it's stupid to, to be looking for the same page. You don't have to. We know what page you're on. So we click there, and we continue reading on exactly the same page right there. Okay? Right there. So let's go to my other book that I already had prepared. I think it was this one, right? And exactly the same thing here. It says you're on page 36, but on the other device you're on page 21. Do you want to go there? I say yes, and there I am. And that's exactly the same page I was on my computer. Give it some time. It's going to show you. Here we go. I click yes. And guess what I see now? Remember that comment, that bookmark that I added? I said good stuff. It's right there. Right? So again, this is everything is in the cloud. All your library is available. I can essentially just throw away my phone, pick up another phone, put in my credentials of my Google account, and all my library is going to be available there without me having to do anything at all. All my comments, all my bookmarks, they're all going to be here. And how? It's simply because we're using the cloud. It's available everywhere, wherever you are. And also here, we can do exactly the same. We can select, give it some time. Let's give it a try. All right, we're back again. Online. So also here, we can do exactly the same. We can select a section. We can translate it into any language in the world. You see this is straight away translating into Russian. You can translate it to any other language. Here you go. Don't read it because maybe the translation is not very good. I didn't prepare that, but you can translate it and try to understand it. And you can do lots of other stuff, right? You can look up a word. You can look up any word, any city. Does it want now? Let's see.